that time of year is upon us. It's the classic Canadian financial dilemma, right? The RRSP deadline is getting closer and closer, but maybe cash is a little tight. So what do? Do you get an RRSP loan, or do you just put whatever you can scrape together into a TFSA? Well, today we're going to break it all down. You know that feeling, don't you? The clock is ticking on the RSP contribution deadline. You really want to max out your retirement savings, you want to get that awesome tax deduction, but your bank account is kind of giving you the side eye. It's a super common problem, that annual savings crunch. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll talk about that savings crunch. Then we'll dive into the RRSP loan strategy, and after that, we'll introduce its powerful alternative, the TFSA. Then we'll put them head-to-head and, finally, give you a solid framework for making the best choice for you. Okay, first up, the RRSP loan. Now, it's really easy to look at this and just see the word loan and think debt. But it's often framed as a really strategic financial move. The whole idea is to use the tax system to your advantage, a little trick some people call tax arbitrage. So what is it exactly? Well, an RSP loan is pretty much just a personal loan, but the money is specifically for your RSP. And what's cool is that lenders often give you a better interest rate on these, because they know the goal is to boost your savings and get a tax refund. It creates this neat little financial circle. And this right here is the core idea. You borrow money so you can make a bigger RSSP contribution than you could with just your own cash. That bigger contribution lowers your taxable income, which means you get a bigger tax refund. And then, and this is the key part, you use that refund to pay back a huge chunk of the loan right away. Let's see this gross-up strategy in the real world. So imagine you live in Manitoba. You're earning about $62,000 a year. That puts you in a 33.25% marginal tax bracket. You've managed to save up $5,100. So you borrow another $2,500 to gross up your contribution to a total of $7,600. When you file your taxes, that contribution gets you a refund of about $2,527, which is almost the exact amount you borrowed. A lot of these loans even let you wait a few months to start payments, which gives you just enough time for that refund to hit your account so you can pay off the debt, minus a tiny bit of interest. But hey, borrowing money isn't the only game in town. Let's take a look at the other option, the very powerful and totally debt-free alternative. And this really gets to the heart of it, right? Just because you can borrow money to invest, does that mean you should? I mean, what if you just invested the cash you already have without taking on any loan at all? And that brings us to the TFSA, the tax-free savings account. I want you to think of this thing as your own personal tax-free growth greenhouse. You put in money that you've already paid taxes on, sure, but from that moment on, every single penny of interest, every dividend, every bit of capital gain your money makes is all yours to keep, 100% tax-free. And when you decide to take it out, still tax-free. It is simple, it's powerful, and it is so flexible. Okay, let's get to the main event. It's time for the head-to-head comparison. In one corner, we have the RRSP loan strategy, using debt to get a tax deduction. And in the other corner, we have the straightforward TFSA contribution, which is all about that sweet tax-free growth. So how do they actually stack up? This slide really breaks down the fundamental trade-off. With an RRSP, you get your tax break right now, but you have to pay tax on whatever you take out in retirement. With a TFSA, there's no tax break up front, but your growth and your withdrawals are tax-free forever. And this is so important. The RSP loan is usually better for high-income earners because that tax deduction is worth a lot more to them today. For pretty much everyone else, that tax-free growth from the TFSA often comes out on top. Now, let's be fair, the RRSP loan definitely has its perks. You get that immediate tax savings, your money grows in a tax-sheltered account, which is great, but the drawbacks are very real. The benefits just aren't as big if you're in a lower tax bracket, and, at the end of the day, you are going into debt. You have to be disciplined enough to actually use that tax refund to pay it back, not blow it on a vacation. And it all really boils down to one simple golden rule. For an RSP loan to make any financial sense, your investment has to grow faster than the interest rate on the loan. It's that simple. If your investments are making 5%, but the loan is costing you 6%, you are literally going backwards. So how in the world do you decide what's right for you? Well, let's build a framework, because the correct answer here depends entirely on your own personal financial picture. Here are the questions you absolutely have to ask yourself. First, what's your income? The higher it is, the more valuable that RRSP deduction becomes. Second, do you have any other high-interest debt, like a nagging credit card balance. You should almost always pay that down first. And finally, you gotta be honest with yourself. What is your comfort level with debt? Really think about that. If there's one thing that just drives the main point home, it's this chart. Your income is the single biggest factor here. If you're in a lower tax bracket, putting your money into a TFSA almost always makes more sense. That RSP loan tax deduction just isn't powerful enough to beat the long-term magic of tax-free growth. But for high-income earners, yeah, the opposite is often true. So the ultimate takeaway is this. This isn't about one option being good and the other being bad. The RRSP loan and the TFSA are both fantastic financial tools. The real question is, which one is the right tool for you right now? It all comes down to your income, your goals, and your personal comfort with risk. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Is your financial strategy just about saving, or is it about creating wealth velocity? A strategy like the RRSP loan forces you to think differently, not just about how much you're putting away, but about how fast your money can grow. It's a subtle shift from just saving money to strategically making every single dollar work as hard as it possibly can for you.